My listening age is 31.
I'm 21.
So I'm chopped and unk, and you're an infant.
Yes. Wow. MotoMouths is my third most listened to podcast. I'm ashamed.
Well, now we get to be topical.
Woo! Spotify Wrap. Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and I can't believe I'm saying this for the second week in a row, but I'm thankful for McLaren.
My name is also... Wow, I can't even... It's so early.
It's a morning podcast again. Yay!
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I just can't believe that Spotify Wrapped called me chopped and unk this morning. That's where I'm at.
Well, it called me Gen Z, so I think that's even worse.
We'll have to fight it out another time. Like the McLaren's.
Next year. Oh my God. Okay.
How are we feeling this morning? Just about things. Because I feel like if I think about Abu Dhabi too hard, I will move into a state of panic never seen before.
You know, I believe that the arc of the universe bends towards good sports narratives.
I do know this.
So I just believe at this point it's inevitable. And we need a win as mankind, as humankind. We need a win.
No, we really do.
And I just think that, like, I can't have Trump become president and Lando win a World Drivers' Championship in 1 year.
Yeah, no, that's like too cruel and unusual.
Right. I think that's like the universe is like, let's cut her a break.
Like just one.
Just one. Let's just like next year it can be horrible.
But let's focus.
Let's just have it this year be okay.
I don't want it to be horrible next year.
No, I don't either. But I'm listen, if Max wins this year, I don't care what happens next year.
I do. Also, so do you.
I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, I need him to do this.
Yeah. More than I think I've ever needed him to do anything.
Right. And if he does this, if Lando Norris, if you bottle it in Abu Dhabi, this is my message to you, Lando Norris. If you bottle it in Abu Dhabi, if you come in fourth or worse, I will never say a bad thing about you again.
That's false. You can't even argue. That's false. That's false, and we both know it is.
It is really, I mean, if you come
I won't
in
say
fourth,
a bad thing about you for like, I don't know, a couple of days.
Yeah, if you come in fourth or worse, I will say 4 nice things about you. The place you come in, I will say that many nice things about you, and they will be sincere.
And they will be on the podcast.
They will be on the podcast, and I will put them on the internet.
I'm excited. I almost kind of want him to finish really low now.
I want him to, and if it's a DNF, I'll do 20.
Okay. Should we talk about MotoGP for a minute?
What the fuck is up with this lion at the VR46 ranch?
The lion?
The lion mascot? Did you not see the lion mascot?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Half of the shit that happens at Tavullia, I just like straight over my head. I don't have enough time in my day to sit there and think about the reasons why Valentino Rossi does things. People have spent decades trying to understand that man and never come close. So I bow to my elders.
What killed me was this pre-race reel that he did. It was like a sit-down interview. Okay, so he's, talking in Italian, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The lion is back, he says.
Dude, like the way Valentino Rossi moves is like, back in the day where MTV had like those hosts for their shows and they would just do the most batshit insane stuff. And you just kind of have to be like, okay.
Like Ashton Kutcher punked.
Yeah, that's Valentino Rossi. Like you'll never understand the reasons why he does a thing. Just let him do it.
Is it Uccio in that suit?
I fucking hope not.
If it's not Uccio in that lion suit, which VR46 kid did he put in that poor lion suit?
Mino.
Okay.
100% Mino.
Okay.
No doubt about it. So yeah, they do this like 100-kilometer of champions race. I don't think they do it like every year because this is the 11th one and it's like not an annual thing. So they might do a couple of them a year. But basically they do like kind of a 2-person team and then they do like a relay kind of thing.
They just go around the dirt track.
Yeah, but then
a bunch of times.
Once you've done enough laps, you have to like switch with your partner and they do a bunch of laps and then that's how you win, I guess. And funnily enough, for a couple of years now, the teams have been pretty solid. Like they've been pretty the same. Like Valentino and his brother Luca are typically like always teammates. Like Bez and Pecco are teammates a lot. I think maybe it's Frankie and Nino typically. But like it was interesting this year because I think the teammates got swapped up a lot. Also, like on the invite list, Diogo Moreira was there, and it's like, hey, so what's with
Mark's guy?
What's with the Markling at the VR46 ranch? What's going on over there?
You know who was also there?
Who?
Casey Stoner.
Yeah, they're buddies. It's like insane.
The number I'm now realizing that they spelled more names wrong on the Fox Motorsport list.
Well, they spelled Celestino Vietti wrong, insanely blatantly.
I don't know if this is incorrect, but Nicolo Antonelli. I'm sure that's supposed to be Nicolo.
Probably.
Yeah, Nicolo Bulga.
Yeah, that's Nicolo. Oh, Barry Baltus was there. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I remember, I think it was last year, they invited Pedro Acosta to his first one, and it was like a whole big deal because everyone was like, Pedro Acosta is the next Marc Marquez, and he's at the ranch. It's like, well, first of all, your initial premise there is wrong. Pedro Acosta is not the next Marc Marquez. Oh, and David Alonso, speaking of the Marklings, like that's crazy funny.
Two Marklings.
Yeah, but David also kind of went viral because he is very clearly like a huge Valentino fan and mimicked like a Valentino celebration when he was in Moto3. And it was like this big deal of like, did Valentino ever say anything to him about it? Because it was like, obviously it was a very like referential, like flattering moment. And like a couple weeks later, Alonso was like, yeah, he did reach out and like he said he really liked it. And it was like really exciting for me. So there is like an element of Alonso kind of it making sense. Also, I just like Mark hasn't really spent a significant amount of time publicly being like, these are my guys. Like he just isn't like that. He and Alex have a management company. And I think like David Alonso, I don't know if Moreira's in it, but Maximo Quiles is. Like they have a management company that manages couple of like young Spanish riders, but Alex and Mark have spent most of the last few years being very private about that and very much not engaging with up and coming talent the same way Valentino does. So I don't think Mark would ever in a million years like exert pressure over these kids coming up being like, well, you are now part of the proxy war. That would never, I don't think he would ever do that. If I'm analyzing two of the craziest people ever, do I think it's a little hinky that Valentino invited them to the race? Yes. Do I think it makes sense for him to have done that? Also, yes. And do I think it makes sense for them to have said yes? Absolutely.
If you don't say yes, that's just silly.
Right.
You know who won?
Yes.
Tell me.
It was Pecco Bagnaia and Augusto Fernandez.
So Pecco has finally broken his DNF streak, I guess.
Yeah, he just needed to be in a safe place.
Yeah. Safe space.
Which for the I guess unfamiliar, Augusto Fernandez was on the MotoGP grid in 2024 and is now a test rider for Yamaha.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
And Valentino's won the sprint, I think.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Oh, Celestino Vietti came so late that people were like, hey, what happened? And he was like, I was just late.
Teenager that just woke up.
Literally. Get his ass on SNL.
Literally. Andy Samberg, duvet cover, teenager that just woke up. I just woke up.
Me right now, actually.
Literally me.
In other MotoGP news, I guess not even news, just things to talk about. Jorge Lorenzo and Maverick Vinales have this like thing happening where he's like coaching Maverick.
Yes, we've discussed.
And recently, Jorge has called this relationship similar to the relationship of Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed in the Rocky films. He is obviously Rocky Balboa in this analogy.
You know what? If Jorge Lorenzo was American, I would place him as from Philly.
Oh, interesting. I feel like he's from Calabasas.
in West Philadelphia, born and raised on a playground where I spent most of my days.
I would not cast Maverick Vinales as the Apollo Creed of any situation, though, is the thing. And Jorge even specifically was like, even if he never wins a race, like, I am really into it. And it's like, that's so damning.
Even if my son never wins a race, is never off the bench, never scores a goal, never gets any time played, I still love him. The kid's like,
okay, thanks, Dad.
thanks, Dad.
I was just like, God damn, Jorge, leave him alone.
Oh my God, he's so weird.
He's so strange. I love him. That's kind of it for MotoGP, if I'm being honest. The season's over.
Woo!
That's all I got to say.
We're enjoying our time off.
Honestly, I'm not. I miss it so bad. I'm lost without MotoGP. What am I supposed to do with myself, Zoe? Watch F1 and suffer?
Pray on Lando Norris's downfall.
I can only do that for so much time, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, good things happened.
The good things happened. That brings us to the great wide world of motorsport. So we went racing in Qatar.
We did, which I thought it was so funny and just like interesting because this track is so fun in MotoGP.
It's so fun in MotoGP and hell on earth in F1.
It is ass in F1.
Though I will say, I think this is the first year at Qatar that they spoke about MotoGP like a lot. Like, I don't remember it. Maybe I just wasn't as cognizant of it last year, but
yeah,
I
confirmation
felt like,
bias.
Yeah, I feel like they talked about it a lot more this year about how it's a MotoGP track and this is where the MotoGP riders race and blah, blah, blah. And like Red Bull did a MotoGP video with Max, and MotoGP is your favorite F1 driver's favorite sport.
Well, and it's like Liberty doing some cross promotion. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I do think it's funny because I feel like this weekend more than others in the past, people have been like, this track sucks. And I'm like, well, yes.
It's
not
bike.
For you guys is the thing. Not everything is about you, F1, actually.
Have you ever
people
considered
also
that?
Exist.
Wow.
So it's just interesting. And I think there was a lot more conversation about it of like why this track doesn't really work for cars and why it does work for MotoGP. And I didn't know this, but Qatar is supposed to have years ago built an F1 track. And so racing at this Qatar track was always kind of just like a pit stop. It was do this until we have an F1 track. They just haven't ever built one, I guess.
Yikes.
So here we are.
Nevertheless,
the title fight persisted.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I thought all hope was lost after the sprint race.
Yeah, even sprint quali, I was like, okay, I am coming to terms with the way of the world, and it's going to be what it is.
It is what it is, except when it isn't.
Except when Max Verstappen's there.
Exactly. Do we want to quickly touch on our predictions?
Yes. Okay, so I predicted P1 Max, P2 Oscar, P3 George.
This was my mistake. I forget that this is Oscar's favorite track.
Yeah.
I forgot. I even said it last podcast. I should have taken it back. I said, this is Oscar's favorite track. It is Oscar's favorite track.
He likes it here. And then my fail king, I said Nico Hülkenberg.
Correct.
And damn, did I nail that.
You nailed that. I saw him go out and I said, wow, Zoe really nailed that.
Zoe did that. You predicted Max P1, Lando P2, George P3, and fail king Oscar. I like how we both were like, we believe in George Russell. A sentence I don't think I'll ever say out loud again.
I believe in him this week.
It is funny because I think that like watching a lot of the stuff. So Max and Lando got kind of into like a little slap fight in the press this week because before the race weekend even started, and this is like classic Max mind games that aren't mind games but are. Mm-hmm. He said it. He goes, if I have been in that car, I would have sewn up the title weeks ago.
7 races ago.
Weeks ago.
The only reason I'm still in this title fight is because of other people's mistakes.
Verbatim that is what he said. And Lando was like, oh, Max is talking nonsense. Like, no. And it's like, no, like he's not. Everyone knows that he is not.
And also, you proved that he is not talking nonsense this race.
Well, just even in general, it's like, hey, man, he doesn't have the best car. And as much as you want to say Lando to the press, oh, actually, this year Red Bull has like one of the best cars. Fuck off. We all know who has an illegal rocket ship confirmed. Confirmed.
# confirmed.
Like ridiculous. ridiculous.
No, this was a really embarrassing weekend to be Lando Norris, and that's saying something considering he's embarrassing every weekend.
It's a really embarrassing weekend to be anyone from McLaren, considering it's the weekend after a double disqualification.
This is so... I think that the world is finally coming to see what we've been saying since day one of this season, which is they are refusing to fight for a title because they are refusing to pick a number one driver. Quote unquote.
Yes,
they are
absolutely
shooting themselves in the foot because they refuse, because they're papaya rules and team culture
and this
blah,
whole
blah,
bullshit
blah.
fairness thing. And it's so, I think what's fun about it is that it's contrasted quite heavily against whatever Red Bull is doing at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Red Bull also just made the announcement after Qatar that Yuki is out. Hajar is coming up to the Red Bull team, and they are putting
Arvin
Lindblad into the Racing Bull seat next to. And quick side note, Laurent Mekies once again is saying this job isn't fucking hard. We can commit to a timeline, no problem. Like, love him. But I think it's interesting because it kind of has started this whole other conversation on like the Red Bull second seat situation, which is famous and long lasting and cursed. But there is nothing wrong with picking a number one driver. Like,
no.
There is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it morally. There's nothing wrong with it ethically, because, hey guys, this is sport. This is what happens. You pick the guy and you back the guy who can do what you need to do. Max just happens to be crazy, and you can't put just anyone next to him and then not pick Max. Like, what are you talking about? It's really cool to just see like the complete breakdown of this system that works in F1, which is having a number one and number two driver at McLaren. Mm-hmm. And then it is also breaking down at Red Bull in a way, while also kind of working, because Max is just that crazy. Like, I think this season has been really funny to me in so many ways, but we're seeing this breakdown of like a system that works, and it's not happening at McLaren, and it's not happening at Red Bull, but somehow it's working at Red Bull and it's not working at McLaren, and we know exactly why.
And also, I think it's interesting because I just kind of realized this. One of the prohibiting factors to picking a number one driver at McLaren is that both your drivers seem to have opposite downfalls.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to put a number one driver forward when Lando consistently bottles and Oscar is bad at the end of the season, and isn't great in qualifying. So it's like, it's liquidate the orange team.
We talked about this maybe 2 months ago, but it's like there are arguments for why each one of them should be the number one driver. I get that. To me, the choice is simple. Lando has never driven for anyone else and has invested in this team when they were ass and stuck around. The choice is simple. You go with Lando. If that doesn't work out for you, and you're like, well, we have this other guy who is growing and getting better, let's go with him. It's a simple choice.
And I think this is where you and I differ. I think it's opposite. I think overall, Oscar is a better driver.
Yeah, but that's not how this stuff works.
No, I know.
Because Lando has just put so much time into this team and money. That's the thing.
And money. That's the real long and short of it.
Objectively, it should be a simple choice for them, and it's so fucking crazy that they refuse to make it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but that is my favorite activity. If they had gotten behind Lando over Oscar earlier in the season, Oscar never would have led the title fight.
Or just back the guy who is currently ahead in the points.
No, but they wouldn't have even had to have that argument if they had established a number one driver.
Yeah.
Because Oscar never would have gotten there, because his job would be to help Lando get there. That's how it works. That's why Bottas was so successful at Mercedes. It's why Checo stuck around for as long as he did, because he was, for a long time, a stalwart, steady number two driver.
And paycheck.
That too. But you understand the point that I'm making.
Yeah. No, I get it. And you know what? Here's my proposal to McLaren. Because I understand that if you want to have a culture dedicated to fairness and whatever, let them race until summer break. Whoever is ahead after summer break, back them.
Great point.
Easy.
I love it.
I fixed it. I fixed
You're
your
welcome.
stupid papaya rules.
You're welcome. Back to Qatar. Side note ended. Yeah, still another embarrassing weekend for McLaren.
This is so...
It's so crazy. The fact that they put Hannah from Red Bull in front of every camera being like, hey, they fucked up.
Also, all the fake F1 fans coming in now and being like, oh my God, they put Hannah Schmitz on the podium. Bitch has been on the podium before. She's an icon of Red Bull racing.
I do think it's funny that they were like, hey, this was all a strategy game. McLaren failed. Our queen Hannah, I know you know her name.
I know you know the name Hannah Schmitz.
But yeah, so McLaren didn't pit under a safety car when literally everyone else did.
And they were like, we want flexibility at Qatar.
When you have like a mandated lap length on these tires or else they will blow up. Like, what do you mean you want flexibility?
And they said, now we know when everybody's going to pit. You still knew that before. It's so asinine. And you know what I think is so interesting is that this whole fairness game is really exposing some fundamental flaws of McLaren in which they have always had ass strategy.
Okay, I thought this was so interesting too. Okay, so Hannah obviously after the race was in front of all these cameras. And they were like, so what? How did you make that decision? Like, what happened?
She's like, it's the easiest decision in the world to make.
And she was like, they're asking her, like, are you a decisive person? Are you indecisive? And I think what she said to answer that question is so indicative of like the strategic culture at Red Bull. And she said, I'm a very decisive person. My philosophy has always been when you make a decision, you stick with it and you deal with the consequences as they come. And there's like a level of flexibility there that like you can switch on a dime. And I think that is Red Bull as a racing team. At their very best, they can do that all day. Zach Brown, when talking to the press after the race, and they were like, hey, why the fuck didn't you pit during a safety car? He said, well, we went into the race knowing what our plan was, and we have decided, and like our belief is that we go with the plan that we have before the race, before anything happens, and we stick with that. And it's like, so you're stupid.
Yeah. So you're dumb. So you don't know anything about racing, actually.
So you can't be flexible. Like that's what it's telling me from like a strategic culture perspective.
It's so silly. I just don't even know what to make of it, except I just like, thank you. Thank you for being so bad at your job.
Well, it's like annoying.
It's annoying, but as long as it's benefiting me and Max, I'm not too worked up about it.
I mean, I kind of am because I think it's like a serious misunderstanding of your job as a race team.
I mean, yeah. Is it good for the culture of Formula One? Is it spitting on the grave of all of the legends of this sport? Yeah.
But also, McLaren's been doing that for a while.
Yeah. Do you expect any less?
I expect more from a racing team. I expect you guys to go racing.
It's true. Which I haven't.
Sorry, that is actually my expectation.
Yeah, that does seem to be the bare minimum,
right?
Of a racing team.
God forbid.
God forbid a racing team go racing.
Also, like Andrea Stella and Zach Brown refused to do any press until after the podium because they were like, we need to get our answers straight.
We need to debrief. What is there to debrief?
Also, here's the thing. What is there to debrief? You guys made a shit call lap 2. You now have the rest of the race to debrief that call. Like, I say this shit about stewarding too. Like, sorry, I don't think stewarding needs to wait until after the race all the time. Whatever. I thought it was really sad that most of the McLaren vibes this weekend were bad because Oscar got pole. No one clapped.
They're such sore fucking losers over there.
There were very few McLaren people in the podium area for Oscar on Sunday. Like his garage, like his mechanics confirmed that like his mechanics were there. Zach Brown wasn't there. Andrea Stella wasn't there. Like big names weren't there. And then Zach Brown, to me, this is incredibly organized that Zach Brown went to the media pit. Mm-hmm. And that's where he congratulated Oscar. And so like, of course, Oscar can't be like, where the fuck were you?
The weirdest fucking hug of all time.
Yeah, grimy.
I said, ew, out loud witnessing that. Thinking about it is making my skin crawl.
Yeah, as it should.
Is pedo uncle, high school senior being like, where's my hug at? Like, ew,
yeah. Leave me alone.
Ew, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave him alone, leave him alone.
Yeah. While we're talking about Oscar, I thought this was so fucking funny. The Australian Parliament is talking about whether or not McLaren is sabotaging him.
Okay, 2 things.
The Australian government is saying, hey, we're watching.
This isn't the only national government that's getting involved in F1, by the way. In F2, the Republic of Ireland and their parliament, I forget what it's called because it's a word in Gaelic and I don't know what it is. So the Irish parliament is also discussing whether or not they should invest government funds in the career of Alex Dunn, the F2 driver, because he's a quote, generational talent.
Is he?
He's Irish.
Okay.
I don't know if he's a generational talent, but
I love that that's what they're discussing. And I feel like that's very Irish to be like, should we support one of our own? And then Australia is like, hey, fuck you guys. The government of Australia is concerned. Like, and it's so funny because the guy who brought it to Parliament, I think he sucks. Like, I think he's not like a great person, but he's like, yeah, as a daughter who's interested in F1, she brought this to me.
Yeah. My daughter is obsessed with F1 and she is concerned that Oscar is not being fairly treated. And the other guy goes, it was like a Senate hearing.
Yeah, like they were on the floor. Like
they were inquiring with a professional about something, about like a transportation and vehicles, I think. And the guy was like, as an expert in motor vehicles, what are your thoughts? And the guy was like, yeah, I think they've been giving him the short end of the stick. He's copped some really bad deals this year.
Which, like, okay, conversations happening in bars all over the world, apparently also happening in Australian Parliament.
This is on the record.
Yeah, there's video.
They are in the Queen's Parliament.
King,
fuck. In the King's Parliament, they are discussing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. What a bad weekend be McLaren like 2 times in a row. Let's make it 3.
Let's make it 3. Good things come in 3s and bad things come in 3s. Please.
Please, God.
Please, God. Carlos Sainz.
Listen, remember a couple months ago we were talking about Carlos Sainz and I was like, listen, I respect that he's talented. He just doesn't really compel me as like a talent.
And I disagreed with you heavily, but yes.
I might be turning a page.
Is he compelling you?
Because like he do be dragging that Williams places where it doesn't need to go.
He do be putting that Williams in P3.
Like, yeah.
Once is an instance, but twice is a hobby.
Yeah. It was cool too, because I think F1 commentary was talking about like who's had a better season, like Alex or Carlos.
Oh my God.
Well, and
is that even a question?
It is, because their point was, and I thought their points were really interesting. Their point was Alex far and away has been the most consistent.
That's true.
From the majority of the season up until like maybe a month ago.
Like at summer break, they swapped luck.
Well, a majority of the season until maybe a month ago when Carlos got his first podium, Alex was outscoring Carlos by a while, like by a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
And so their point is that Alex is by far and away more consistent. But as a comparison, Carlos's lows are really low, but his highs are really high.
Yeah.
And so like it's just a different school of thought of like how are you thinking about a successful season? And so I think, I don't know, it was a really interesting comparison to like look at their performance this year.
You know who's having a better season?
Who?
Williams.
I mean, yeah, Williams is having a great season.
They are better off for the both of them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
James Vowles was incandescent with joy.
Like, yeah, they were on the floor.
And Carlos is going, woohoo!
I did think like, and Carlos does this all the time where he's always trying to like strategic think his way during a race. And his guys on the radio are like, calm down, please. So he was on the radio talking about like, I should back up to Kimi, so he should have DRS to me so we can keep Lando behind.
Yeah.
Which also very funny to me to be like, so are we all
trying to make this not happen?
Are we all like in agreement now?
I think we are.
Because George was really messy in the media pit later.
Well, George said at the beginning of the season that it is a 100% chance that Max Verstappen is going to win the world championship.
And George has stuck by that multiple times when asked.
One thing about George Russell is that he does not like to be wrong.
One thing about George Russell is he likes to stir the pot.
He loves to stir the pot.
But I thought it was funny that Carlos was like, I should back up to Kimi, so Kimi stays with me, so Lando stays behind Kimi. And they were like, please just race.
They're like, we aren't Ferrari. Please just, you can do whatever you want, buddy. Go.
You can do whatever you want forever.
Hashtag go free.
And then almost immediately his radio of, oh no, my car's broken. My heart dropped to my ass.
But he still, Frank Williams himself is like, fuck McLaren.
I just thought it was so, like, by the end of the race, it was so unbelievably clear that Lando and Oscar had both accepted that they were not overtaking who was in front of them. And I find that sexy in a very pathetic way.
They were so far behind after their pit stops.
Yeah. And the fact that for a brief moment in time, F1 TV commentary was like, Oscar could catch up to Max. It's like, he's 16 seconds behind him and we've got 14 laps. What are you talking about?
I'm not good at math, but the math ain't mathin'.
Oh, by no means.
No means is the mathing. Can I tell you some other favorite moments of mine this weekend?
Yes, please.
Fernando Alonso thinks his Aston Martin is cursed.
I loved this. Also, he's having a baby.
Yes! Fernando Alonso is pregnant.
Child bride. Rookie Fernando Alonso.
Teen pregnancy.
He does think that car is haunted. It makes me laugh.
That car is haunted. I think he's going to retire at the end of next year and Honda's going to get Kimi back in that seat. Kimi. Wow. Yuki.
Next year.
At the end of 26?
Here's the thing. At the end of 26, like, Max could be up for grabs.
Oh, that's such a good point. Oh, Aston Martin named Adrian Newey as their team principal.
Yeah, so that was really sneaky.
I don't understand what's going on there because one thing I know about Adrian Newey is that team principal is a people manager.
Yeah, he's an engineer.
Christian Horner did an interview on this like a while ago and I watched it recently and he was saying like he's an artist. He is not a people manager. There is no reason why he would be in that position.
If you look at in Ducati MotoGP, like there's a reason it's Davide Tardossi and Gigi Dall'Igna. There's a reason they are where they are in the structure of that team. And Gigi is the lead engineer and ultimately does control a lot of the team. But Davide is the team principal. Like Davide is the people leader of the team. And that works because Gigi is so unrelenting in his goal of like the perfect combination of man and machine. And Davide is like, okay, we have a team. It works. That works.
Right. And what's happening to my crack?
He got fired, dude.
When?
He got fired during the double disqualification evening. That's what's so funny about it because they like snuck that in during that because they knew no one would be focused on them.
Did you know he's Luxembourgish?
I do now.
Also, let's all take a moment to remember our favorite Mike Crack moments. Mine is when an email landed in my inbox before Montreal in 2024 when he said, "Let your fags fly."
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
That's crazy. He said, throw them out the window. Defenestrate them. That's crazy.
In like a mass, on sales, they hit send on Salesforce. MailChimp.
It was totally MailChimp. They can't afford Salesforce.
I'm sure they could afford Salesforce.
I think Aston Martin, the business entity, can.
Wow. Shout out to my crack.
I'm not going to shout out your crack. I'm not going to do that.
Speaking of people smoking crack, stop bullying Kimi Antonelli.
Actually, I think it's fine. Sorry. Like, truly, this is the thing I care about least.
I'm kind of with you, except he's so sweet. He's so sensitive. He made his profile picture black, like he's going to go into his Reputation era.
I don't think that's the vibe he has. If I'm being totally honest.
Leave him alone.
I just I'm sorry, like you can't convince me to care about this. Listen, GP's job, which is where all this like kicked off, GP's job is to share information with Max.
And whether or not it's messy.
Well, in all honesty, I think that this is F1's fault because they know what situation they're in.
Yeah.
They know how contentious and tense this all is. And you spend 5 minutes sitting on footage that shows that Kimi just made a mistake.
Yeah.
I think people forget that they are working with, in some ways, the same information we are. They have the like F1 live stream. But if F1 is not showing Kimi's mistake in the F1 live stream, then it's just like, I guess he went wide. And also like Kimi's not a bad driver. Like that's the thing. I understand the kind of immediate gut reaction of like, that's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Also, then GP apologized for it. Toto is like blowing things up in the media tent. And it's like, hey, can we all just like calm down?
Take a chill pill.
Yeah. Where I do agree with you is like, hey, if someone being kind of snarky on a radio gives you carte blanche to go send death threats to a 19-year-old, that's a you problem.
Agree.
That's not like, I don't really give a fuck about the whole Red Bull situation of it.
Right.
Again, this is racing. This is F1. This is sport. This shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
My other thing too is I think it is funny that so Kimmy is like a Valentino Rossi kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting here like, Valentino Rossi theoretically could be giving advice to one of his proteges on what to do when embroiled in a potential scandal that could lead to your idol, who has been quite kind and generous and supportive and complimentary of you, that could lead to him losing the title fight in a historic season for him. Valentino Rossi, I just want you to maybe consider where things are coming from. And now, like, the idol giant of the sport that Kimi is theoretically maybe impacted his title fight, his fans are sending you death threats. How does that feel? Valentino, are you upset?
History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes.
Exactly. I'm just saying. I do feel bad for Kimi. Like, I do. And Red Bull has been like, hey, like, we didn't mean it that way. Please don't send death threats.
I think it's so fucking funny to me that he went typical 19-year-old emo kid and turned his profile picture black.
Yeah. I mean, that's very clearly not a PR person doing that. That's Kimi.
That's iconic to me.
Yeah. I feel like that's the big hits of the weekend. Should we do our predictions for Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. Let's, I'll go first. Max Verstappen, he fucking won.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oscar Piastri, P2.
Mm-hmm.
George Russell, P3.
Okay.
Lando Norris, P5. Fail King, Fernando Alonso.
Okay. I'm going to go with a Max P1. George, P2. Carlos Sainz, P3.
Okay.
And then Lando Norris, P4, I guess, is my guess. Fail King, Charles Leclerc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you see that he was trying to do the math during Qatar, because he was like watching the race on the big screens whenever he would drive by them, and he would try and do the math of like the title fight whenever he had a second. He's just like me, bad at math.
Oh, speaking of which, Max now has the same number of points as Ferrari.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough one.
And also the same number of wins as both McLaren drivers.
Yeah. No, that was delicious. That's a good one.
Yeah. Just some fun stats.
Just some fun things to think about.
For our stat heads out there. That brings us to the grid as ... which the uninitiated is a moment in our podcast where we categorize a handful of riders and drivers as a person, place, thing, idea, concept, and in honor of Spotify Wrapped coming out today, we are going to do the grid as songs from our Spotify Wrapped Top Songs 2025. Would you like to go first?
Yes. From my Top Songs 2025 playlist, Jorge Martin is Lord's What Was That?
Excellent.
Because truly, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. How many times did you listen to that?
30 times.
Yep.
Feels right.
Feels right.
Marc Marquez is Denial is a River by Doechii, which is the song she announced her comeback with. I mean, it's not like the comeback isn't truly the same, but like she was popular and then came back with this album and just fucking broke the world.
Up. Yeah.
Best song ever. Love that song.
Such a good song.
And then I do have one extra for Max from Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department, which is one of my most played albums this year. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
You should be.
You should be.
Okay. For me, Lando Norris is Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter.
Sure. Yes.
Lewis Hamilton is Red Hearse by the band Red Hearse.
Stop. I do love that song.
I knew you would like Red Hearse. I knew you would. And then Seb, just because like I associate this song with him so thoroughly, is Nissan Altima.
Yeah.
And then also my beautiful baby boy Capybara, who just got promoted. I think he's going to do well in Red Bull. I don't think this is a demotion. He likes to drive like Max and Daniel. I think he's going to do well. I think he is Yippee-Ki-Yay by Kesha featuring T-Pain. Bitch, I just got a brand new car.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, wow.
God, what a week. And we still got one more left.
All
right.
And then we'll be fresh out the slammer, 15 listens.
Thank fucking God.
Is it over now? 14 listens.
We gotta be over now.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Let's all, everyone, before you go to bed tonight, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, and also all day Sunday, let's say a little prayer for you. Say a little prayer in Abu Dhabi.
Let's all hire an Etsy witch. Let's just all do that.
Let's all hire an Etsy witch. I might actually
too.
Honestly, I'm going to. I think that's money well spent. Spent. Okay, and then come hang out with us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Make sure to like, share, rate, review, subscribe to, engage with in any way, shape, or form the podcast. It really helps us grow. We really appreciate it. And let's keep chatting soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.